Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be an in-depth demo slash review, kind of like tips video on the Soliel Tan de Chanel bronzer. I mentioned that I wanted to do a video on this because I feel like a lot of people may have tried this and may not have liked it because they don't feel it's pigmented, or they don't feel it blends out nicely, or they don't see the whole rave about it, because I was one of those people. But I kept it because I was like, damn, it's so pretty, it's Chanel, like blah blah blah, super bougie. And I recently found out like the way to use this, and it's amazing, and I love this product. It's just incredible. Literally, it's incredible. I just feel like you have to have the right technique and the right tools. So let's just start off by saying a few things about this bronzer. So this is a medium toned bronzer. It's a cream bronzer. This is what it looks like. I don't think that this will suit very dark skin tones because it is not that dark in itself. I think that up to like an NC45 might be able to use this. And if you're paler, this might not be the best for you as well, just because it is kind of orangey. You probably can't tell in the pan, but you can definitely see it on my face when I put it on, which I personally don't mind because I have a medium skin tone with a warm undertone. So it kind of like just makes you look beachy, bronzy, and super like glam. Those are the types of people that I personally think will benefit from this particular bronzer. If you don't fall in that category, you can go ahead and try it. I'm probably wrong. I'm just saying from what I think, from experience, from just looking at it. So this bronzer retails for $50, which I don't think is that bad, because I've had, you know, like I have a few bronzers and stuff like that that range from like 30 to 40. So you got a ton of product in here. This is 1 ounce of bronzer, and a lot of this stuff goes a long way. I mean, I've had this for a really long time now, and I've used it quite a few times, and there's not even a dent in it. But yeah, so I don't think that's too bad a price point, especially for Chanel. The packaging is beautiful. So it's this really nice matte case, and it says obviously Soliel Tan de Chanel by Chanel. And then it has the really nice lid with the gold Chanel logo. I mean, how cute is this? This would be even cute to like display. Another thing to mention about this bronzer, this is not a contouring bronzer. I just want to put that out there because a lot of people are probably sitting here trying to contour and chisel their cheeks with this bronzer. That's a definite no-no, number one, because the color is just off. This is a bronzing bronzer. It has more of an orange tinge to it. It's very, very light. And this is just not that type of product. It just doesn't blend out nicely as a contour, if that makes any sense. So just keep in mind that this is for bronzing, and I mean, you can use it for contouring, but I think it best works for bronzing. And it does an amazing job at it. One of the other things that I absolutely love about this bronzer is that it makes your skin look skin-like. And I don't know how to explain that, and I know that sounds a little like, what? But sometimes when you wear bronzers or when you wear makeup, like your face can look, you know, like you have makeup on. I feel like this bronzer almost looks like second skin. It's hard to explain, and I feel like it just makes my skin look absolutely beautiful, especially my forehead area. I just love how smooth and how blended and how naturally bronzed my skin looks whenever I wear this bronzer. It is incredible, you guys, and I really hope that people give it a shot and maybe use my technique and see if you like it. And then if you don't, then obviously it's a no-go. It's not going to work for everybody, but I definitely think that the people who do have this and kind of are iffy about it, definitely try this technique, because that's how I felt. I absolutely hated it. I was like, what gives? Like Jaclyn Hill, she's always saying how amazing it is, and it's not. Like, I don't get what she thinks is amazing about this, but this technique literally works. And I'm gonna show you how to do everything in depth, how to pounce, how to do this, how to blend it out, how to etc. etc. Okay, you guys, so I'm gonna start off by showing you my face routine and what I do leading up to the bronzer and a couple steps after the bronzer, so that you guys can see how it works and what you're supposed to do. At least in my personal opinion, this is the best thing that's worked for me. So I'm starting off with foundation. Of course, I am going to be using my Kojendo foundation. This one is in the color 143. You want to use a very lightweight foundation. I mean, I'm sure you can use like a more full coverage foundation, but this bronzer is so blendable and so luminous, and the color that it gives off and the effect that it gives off is so bronzy, dewy, luminous, sort of healthy, that I always like to pair it with a lighter weight foundation that's obviously going to give me coverage. I know this video is not about this foundation, but this foundation is life itself. Okay, now we're gonna move on to concealer. The reason why we're gonna do concealer first is because we're putting the bronzer on top of the concealer, sort of. So when we're highlighting this area, then you go with bronzer on top, kind of like you normally would. You would do your entire face first, and then you go in with your bronzers and your you know, blushes and highlighters and things like that. If we do the bronzer first and then we do the concealer, we're sort of going to take away from the bronzing effect that the bronzer is going to give us. So you want to do your concealer first. I'm using the Urban Decay Naked Skin. This is no surprise. I use this in like every single video because it is my favorite concealer ever. So we're not going to set this concealer just yet because we're doing all our creams first. This is another reason why I like to use the Naked Skin, because this concealer doesn't set to like a matte finish like the Kat Von D or like the Tarte Shape Tape. So once it creases, which it will crease while I'm not setting it, it's going to blend out really nicely still after I've applied my cream bronzer. It doesn't set, it kind of just like sits there, and then once you apply your powder, it's set. So I like to just use this one because I have to do concealer first, but I don't want anything that's too dry and that's gonna dry creased up, just because the formula is like that, if that makes any sense. Okay, so now the bronzer. This is the bronzer here. Of course, you guys have seen it. It's amazing. And we're just gonna take off the little cap. So this is what it looks like. Obviously, I've dug into mine. There's so much product in here, and it's just amazing. All right, so first and foremost, if you are using this bronzer, I highly, highly, highly recommend this one particular brush, and I have tried a lot of brushes. I remember telling my friend, like, I love the Soliel Tan, excuse me. I've tried a lot of brushes, and I remember telling my friend, like, oh my god, I want to love this product because I know that Jaclyn Hill loves it, and I seriously, genuinely believe in Jaclyn Hill's opinion. I feel like all the stuff that she recommends, and I tried, probably because we have similar skin type, always works for me. So she did a video recently, and well, not recently, but like, I don't know. So she mentioned the Morphe M439 brush, and I already had this brush in my collection because people were using it for foundation, all sorts of stuff. This brush is the perfect brush for this bronzer. I literally have tried all sorts of brushes. Like, I tried a Real Techniques. I wanted a dense brush. I know I wanted a dense brush, and I was actually looking for a brush like this but angled, just so that I can get in the crevice. But when I tried this brush, I was like, no, there's no need for that, because this brush just kind of molds. It's perfect. And it's super round, super fluffy, and it's just amazing, nice and dense. This brush is perfect for this. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna take your brush and you're just going to swivel it in the product, kind of tap it, and you're gonna get some product like this. So we're gonna start on the cheeks. So you're gonna apply this. You don't want to apply this cream bronzer too low, because then you have to like clean it up and stuff like that. So what I like to do is kind of hold my brush at an angle and just put it right above the crevice. So you guys can see this is going right above the crevice. And I'm just literally packing this onto the skin. I'm not rubbing it because I don't want the foundation to move. I'm just pressing this into the skin with this brush. And it's okay if it's not perfectly blended, even though it is perfectly blended because this product is so blendable. So I'm just going back in. It all depends on how much you want. And then you can work your way down. If you feel like it's a little too high, you can work your way down. But it's better to have it higher than lower, because then you gotta clean it up and it's a really big pain in the butt. And literally just pressing it into the skin blends that product out. Like, it's crazy. This brush is amazing, you guys. So I'm just going to swivel it, sort of pack it on there, and do the other side. And I have a blemish there. And you're just literally packing this on. Like I said, I don't like to swipe because I feel like it's gonna move my foundation, and that foundation is expensive, girl. But you're just packing it on. And of course, if you have to buff it just a little bit, like, obviously go ahead. But you can start bringing this into the temples, and you can see the color that this is giving me. Now the forehead. Again, I like to pack it in there or swivel it. It doesn't really matter. Just get some product down there. This product is really nice and blendable. So now I'm just, again, pressing this into the skin, the forehead, and then sort of blending into the hairline because this bronzer is a little obviously darker than me. And then just kind of connect this. And then just follow that. And you guys can see, look at the bronziness around the parameters of my face. And then I just, again, just a little bit this time. And I kind of like to buff it on my jawline and then just buff it down a little bit because obviously you want everything to match. That's it. That's it. That's all there is to it, and it looks amazing. I'm not even kidding. It looks amazing, especially in person, which is like unbelievable. Oh my god, look how bad my under eye concealer is creasing. Like, I'm telling you guys, I have to set my concealer stat. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and set that, but obviously we're gonna blend it out again. So just go back in with your beauty blender. I want to set this really quick before I finish the bronzer. Make sure you blend that out, those creases. That's what I love about this concealer. You can go back and blend it out. Now there's like no creasing and it's ready to be set. I'm just using my RCMA powder. To quickly set this. Yeah, I'm going on my eyelids too. Okay, so the concealer's set, it's good to go. So now I'm just taking the butt of my booty blender, okay, beauty blender, and just kind of smoothing out the bronzer, just going over it. You know, you can never blend too much. And if for whatever reason you missed like one spot that was just a little too bronzy or a little too chunky and, you know, pigmentation, then you're getting that. And then this just pushes that product into the skin even more. You know what I'm saying? Last step to this particular, you know, routine that I do is to set the bronzer in place. Now you can do this with a powder if you want. I love the effect and the color that this bronzer provides. Like whenever I do this look, this is it, and obviously a little bit of blush and highlight, girl. But I like to set my face. And remember I said that I like this more for a dewy, luminous, very bronzy, beachy look. So I use the Hourglass powder in the color Luminous Light. Looks like this to set my face. Now you guys are probably thinking, girl, that's a highlighter, but this powder is just amazing. It makes my skin look absolutely beautiful. I know it's a little intimidating because it's very shimmery, but it's not shimmery, it's sheeny, and it's very dull light sheen, and it looks really, really nice on the skin. I will have to admit that the stuff, you know, all this stuff is pretty expensive, but this is what works for me with this particular bronzer and stuff like that. Like, I'll try to find dupes for some of this stuff in my collection, but I'm not making any promises. So I'm just taking a big fluffy brush. This one's a lot more fluffy. It's not as dense, you know, it kind of like breaks. And then I just like to pat this all over my skin. Like so. Alright, so I'm gonna go finish my face and then I'll show you guys the finished result.